Hi again, 2009, and for this episode, an apt phrase, an old Yiddish proverb in fact. Man plans, God laughs. You don't need religion to get this one, and no, I'm not getting my wires crossed and talking about a Public Enemy album from 2015. More a reflection on my year, a year when the economic crash of 2008 finally hit home, and I lost my job. Started out as a reduction in hours at the company trying to ride out the storm, but in November, last in, first out, I was made redundant. So that convenient job right on my doorstep was no more. Christmas looming, bills to pay, kid to feed. The outlook, dicey. Not the best time to be looking for a job in software either. I had to dig deep and dust off some long neglected skills. I had to get back into science. Some friends, old colleagues of mine, tipped me off about an opening in bioinformatics back at my old research institute. So following some intensive catch-up, a hastily scheduled interview, and a few sleepless nights, I got the job. Christmas was saved, much relief all round, and I was all set to start in the new year. So 2009, like 2008, a pretty fraught time, lots happening, music on the back burner. Only a few records for 2009 again, but first, while I'm talking about Christmas of that year, a goodbye. Christmas Day 2009, Vic Chesnutt ended his own life at the age of just 45. Desperately sad, his health poor, ruined by medical bills. He was clearly in an impossibly difficult place. He ran out of options as he saw it, and this, one of several suicide attempts over the years, was his way out. I've talked about his wonderful 1991 album West of Rome before, but his discography is a trove, and the two records he released this year, the powerfully oppressive At the Cut and the spare, ghostly Skitter on Takeoff, showcase both the depth of his incredible talent and the depths he found himself in towards his last days. But as he once sang himself in the song Florida, and I respect a man who goes to where he wants to be, even if he wants to be dead. So respect to Vic Chesnutt, wherever you are. Onwards, just two records then. One of them, my clear winner this year. The other, well, how about Embryonic by the Flaming Lips. Their best 21st century release by far, I reckon. This one sits squarely in that intersecting set between the frazzled acid punk whimsy of the Hit to Death, Transmissions, Clouds era, and the poignant head music come down of the Soft Bullet and Yoshimi period. Long, massively varied, but rooted in a more experimental, psychedelic, progressive mindset that makes this their Tego Mago, if you like. Sure, you can skip the odd number, but just succumb to it. Let the freer stuff punctuate the poppier numbers and go with it. Lots of blown out into the red drums, bass, blaring keys and synth lines. It really is a fantastic sounding record throughout, and when they hit a groove, it's irresistible. Convinced by the Hex, See the Leaves, Gemini Syringes, Worm Mountain, Silver Trembling Hands. You could easily playlist this album into two contrasting halves of the Flaming Lips psyche and enjoy either. Although I'm sure they'd rather you Zyrika'd it up and listen to them both simultaneously or something. Either way, a great Lips record. I kind of wish they carried on in this vein a little more, but there you go. And before I go on any further, if you're enjoying this video, why not think about subscribing? I've got plenty more like this where this came from, so yeah, stick around, join the club. My pick of the year, unlike Embryonic, is simplicity itself. 33 minutes, no unifying concept or narrative to shape it, and it's tight. A record entirely focused on the clenching of palms, the grinding together of teeth, the soundtrack to an aggressive rush hour drive, or standing in a queue marked Express whilst it steadfastly refuses to move. The sound of agitation, disbelief, formless, inexpressible fury. I'm worked up. I'm going to need a holiday after that. Luckily, this is Travels with Myself and Another by Future of the Left, the band's second studio album following 2007's Curses, and another stop-off on the continuing journey of Andy and Jack. Those being Andrew Falkus, aka Falco, no, not that one, and Jack Egglestone, both formerly of McCluskey. A band I only really got after the fact, that fact being underscored by 3 scabrous albums of similarly themed noisy rock music, issued between 2000 and 2005. A continuum of sorts defined by Falco's acidically surreal lyrics and an adherence to the Tao of the riff. This is fierce, punkish rock music, barreling staccato constructs, hoarse, gargly vocals with anthemic payoffs and oddball rhythms and primitive keyboards vying for your attention. Vocals periodically coalesce into doomy, harmonized hooks or perky new wave calls and responses. This is clearly the sound of a band who value Devo and the B-52s almost as much as they do Shellac, or No Means No, or AC/DC. Where to start? Well, track 1. Arming Eritrea is as good a place as any, a politely pattering opening, giving way to colossally ugly, bent, sharp guitars dropping like breeze blocks, Falcus exhorting the song's subject to pull your socks up. A song seemingly constructed purely to flex a cheeky bit of rhyming, that is. But if we arm Eritrea, then we won't have to pay her, and everyone can go home. This is Future of the Left. Sometimes the source of the anger is obvious, sometimes not. Its only job to infect you with its bruising momentum before the song's conclusion. These are unashamedly catchy songs that chain the aforementioned moves together into deadly combos. Your HP will be constantly hovering at that worrying level that has you searching all over for the next health pickup. Take The Hope That House Built, building from a fall-style grumble into a head-nodding death march replete with Viking backing vocals, Falco's skin-peeling shriek resetting the riff clock every few bars. The song burning out into a minor key tangle of crisscross vocal lines. For what is one of the less spittle-flecked numbers on the album, the way it orchestrates tension via hooks, melodic tricks, a monolithic beat is very impressive. Chin Music takes a very different approach, a barreling bass grind with slippy, squirrely little riffs just dropping in for interest. It's quick, it's dirty, it's manic, just like one of the pub fights documented within its lyric. This track is maybe the only point where Future of the Left take on that McCluskey blueprint verbatim. The rest of the album is full of odd musical crosscuts, keys, rhythms, vocals, which expand beautifully on what came before. Throwing bricks at trains injects lyrical stanzas into the gaps between a buzzing, repetitive keyboard riff and stock punk rock beat in a way that willfully upsets expectations. Falco sings, slight, bowel movements preceded the bloodless coup. And the trick is repeated on the glorious You Need Satan More Than He Needs You. What a title. Kelson's bass line threading between the gaps of a cataclysmic pounder of a drum break. A viciously low-down resonant synth oozing through the song, the lyrics highlighting the mundane details that puncture the atmosphere of a satanic orgy. Yeah, apparently, the babysitter needs a lift by 9. And that's the album, really. Lather, riff, repeat. And those riffs are complemented by pop hooks. The vocal interplay, it's inventive, often surprising. The deployment of nagging, buzzing little keyboard lines, it adds a texture and a colour that I don't hear anywhere else. And Falco's lyrics are by turns fascinating, ugly, profane, silly, and even at times a teensy bit moving. So if you've never heard this one before, hop on board. It's not too late, and they do say travel broadens the mind. 2009, Future of the Left. You really don't need to think too much about this one. It's just good, hard, noisy, fast punk rock. Please pitch in down below in the comments section. We can talk about what your 2009 album of the year is. But I am done talking. Thanks very much for getting this far into the video. You could top it off now with a like if you've enjoyed what you've seen. It would really help me out. But I will leave you there. Please do take care, and I hope to see you again very, very soon. Bye for now.